Sogcast fans, it's starting to get a little soggy. At least for right now, the Mariners are still in first place. We're a half game up of the Astros, but we need to right this sinking ship fast. It hasn't been great. It's been a tough little bit of baseball. We've got plenty to talk about in this week's episode. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Sogcast. I'm Patrick.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Bella.
Oh, also, Garrett, I saw that little edit thing you did at the beginning of the last episode. That was really clean. I like that.
Can do it again.
That was very nice. So let's get into it. Mariners, the ship is sinking slightly. There's a hole. It can be
it's
patched.
a small hole. We just need to get on it.
You lay some spackling down. But we need to do it quick because this thing is starting to snowball. It hasn't really been our offense. Our offense hasn't been top tier, but it's been a lot of bullpen. And I mean, offense.
We got shut out twice in the last little bit of baseball. It's kind of the offense too.
A little bit.
And last night,
strikeouts are coming up a little bit. Yep.
Last night I was even complaining about putting Munoz in the ninth inning in a non-save situation, and then I was like, "You never trust your offense to score a run with a free runner on second. Why would you do that?" Well, because you're the Mariners.
Yeah,
you know.
And it didn't matter because the Mariners managed to lose by 6 runs in extra innings, which is damn near impressive. Give up a 7 spot. They ended up scoring 1 in the bottom of the 10th. But, I mean, who cares?
It was a class act for sure. I shut it off after they got 2 in the 10th. And I was like, yeah, I'm done with this. I'm going to go walk my dogs and go to bed, and I'll check the highlights of how this ends tomorrow.
Yeah. You saved yourself some time.
Yep, I did. It was getting late.
And you are right. The offense has had its struggles. For example, there was the Astros game. Brian Wu committed an error in the first inning, allowed 2 unearned runs to score, and the Mariners lost 2-1. If that error does not happen, that's a win for Wu, and it's a 1-0 shutout of Houston. But let's be real. You can't win the majority of the time by only scoring 1 run.
It's just not, statistically, it's not going to happen.
And against a team like the Astros, we needed that series. And even though we dropped the series 3-1 to the Astros, I wasn't super upset about it. Losing that 2-1 kind of sucked. But I was like, well, the Mariners still went 6-4 on the road trip.
Yeah, as a whole, the road trip was successful.
I was like, that's pretty good. But then to come back home and just get slapped around by the under 500 Nationals is...
It's been a brutal last couple games.
It has.
After that decent road trip, I was ready to, take that second game shutout against the Nationals and let it slide if we could take the series. Mm-hmm. But then not taking the series in a brutal way really just put me in a bad mood. Kind of down on the Mariners right now.
I'm a little down. It's a little soggy. I was at the game on Wednesday. George Kirby was on the mound. He does not look major league ready.
It's been really rough. He's had that was his second outing since he's been back, and both have been really, really bad.
Yeah.
They're getting on him early. He's not making it past, I think, even 3rd or 4th inning, both games, I think. It's rough.
Yeah, I think he somehow managed to pitch into the 5th in his second game, but it didn't matter. It just was another inning for more runs to score. And the home runs he was giving up, he gave up 3 home runs, and all 3 of them it wasn't like, oh, they barely cleared the wall. They were shots. The one that was hit, I can't remember if it was Wood or Abrams on the Nationals, hit one to right field, and Tavares did not even turn around, didn't even look up. He saw it off the bat and just stood there, and the ball landed 150 feet behind him. It was absolutely demolished. And when the outfielder doesn't even take a step or track it with his eyes, he just he didn't even follow it to over his head. He saw it off the bat and just looked down. And it was not coming back. Kirby he seems to be missing a lot over the middle of the zone, which is weird. He's always had his control and being able to paint and hit the corners, and he is just middle, and he's getting crushed.
Yeah.
he does not look MLB ready. And I was giving it a little bit of a slide his first start.
Of
You know,
course.
in Houston, on the road, tough game. I'm like, okay, he needed to get the jitters out. But at home, and then just to miss like that, and then just to get hit hard. It wasn't dinks and dunks. It was moonshots, and everything was hit extremely hard. He just doesn't look ready yet.
Yeah, it's very sad. We were so looking forward to him coming back. His first 2 starts are not good. Yeah, turn it around quick. I don't want to see 2 more outings
No,
of,
we just
of
don't
baseball
need to.
like that.
And that's the frustrating part where it's like, you hate to see that for the sake of him, right? Like, you want him to come back healthy. You want him to come back and have, good games. But at the same time, when we have so many other good, healthy options, why are we going to continue to watch him sink himself, bring him back down, whatever we need to do, but a quick correction because we have other options.
Yeah. I'm curious to see his next outing. And if it's that bad, I'm going to be like, bro, get Evans back up here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Speaking of which, we have a high with a low.
Yeah.
Logan Evans start 8 innings, 1-run ball. He almost threw a Maddox, almost threw a complete game under 100 pitches. Going into the 9th inning, he was only at 88 pitches. He had a chance for a complete game to get the Maddox. And Dan did not send him back out there to get the complete game, especially in today's game. Complete games are such a rarity.
Would have been so cool to see.
And after the game, they sent him back down to Tacoma. So there's 2 things about that. One, I kind of understand the move in a sense of like, we had a reliever coming back from injury,
Kowar.
was coming back from injury, so we needed the bullpen help. We believe that Miller's going to be back sooner rather than later. And so we obviously needed an extra arm in the bullpen rather than 6 starters because the Mariners are adamant that they're not going to do a 6-man rotation, which is totally fine. So we had to send Evans down because we're starting to get healthy. We need our 5 starters. But what pisses me off more about that is if you knew that you were going to send him down after the game, let him get the complete game. We had a 8-9-run lead. He could give up 2 grand slams. The Mariners would still be fine.
That's what I was thinking. Like, even if he starts to let it bleed, we have enough cushion that we can change the gears if we need to and throw Munoz in there or whoever and shut it down. So that was a bummer to not let him get that, but he looked hyped at the end of the game.
He should be hyped at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It was a crazy good performance from him, but to not give him the chance.
And
I mean,
you're worried about pitch count? 88 pitches from a starter. Let him go. And if you knew you were sending him down, let him rest in Tacoma. Let this young kid have a chance for a complete game.
It's another thing. He's young. You let Castillo go out there and throw 113 pitches. Aging old man. He's not that old. But, I mean, he's getting there.
He's
getting
older.
Getting up there. You're going to have him throw that many pitches. I don't know if it was 113. It was
113.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And then the kid, the spry young guy who probably isn't going to hurt his arm or anything. I mean, give him the chance.
Let him rip.
It would have been sweet.
I was really upset about that move. And Logan Evans getting sent down, like, I get it from the business standpoint, and it makes sense for the roster control. But it just, then not give him the chance is...
The Maddox would have been short-lived news anyway because Scooble came out and just... ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's on another one right now.
Scooble with his 13 strikeout Maddox.
Walks.
Is insane.
Dude's on a tear. The Tigers are really good.
Yeah. Tigers are very good. They're a fun team. Who would have thought that the AL Central would be like the division to beat this year?
Forced to be reckoned with.
Yeah, the Twins and the Guardians are both 30 and 25, and they're 6 games out of first place because the Tigers are just crushing it in the Central.
Tough place to be.
Yeah.
Speaking of injured pitchers, though, Logan Gilbert made a start in Tacoma.
Yes.
Nice.
working back, which is great. Can't
And
wait to have Logan back. That is the dude.
Yes. And Logan, at least, has innings at the major league level this year. So he's not going to be as rusty as Kirby was, who missed everything.
Yeah.
So Logan coming back is huge. Miller is going to be back sooner rather than later. I think he's about to be reinstated from the IL. And again, I'm still riding that phantom IL stint. They gave him 2 weeks to be like, hey, you're looking a little rocky. And, it is possible he was dealing with some soreness and stuff. But I think that the IL stint was a phantom stint. And if he's worked on it and figured it out in a better headspace, then, bring him back.
Yeah, I don't care if it was a phantom IL stint.
Oh.
It doesn't matter to me in the slightest.
Yeah.
I just need this guy to get back on the horse. Because he was great. Really, really had a fantastic season last year. And I came into this season thinking Bryce Miller was going to take a big step forward. And so far, it just hasn't been great. However, Brian Wu, like you said at the beginning of the season, huge step forward. The dude has stepped up. Only pitcher in the league to go 6+ in every outing he's had. I mean, the dude's a monster.
Yeah.
He's looking great.
Yeah, and it just, I mean, what is the Mariners' biggest issue right now? Because I feel like our starters are even still getting it done, even with spot starts with Hancock. Hancock has proved time and time again that he can get the job done. So offense is slipping, and then our bullpen is just. Yeah. I think the bullpen problem though is a two-headed dragon. One bullpen problem is that they're just not pitching at an elite level. Besides Munoz excluding, obviously. You can't argue with a 0 ERA. It's hard. It's literally impossible to give up less runs than Munoz has.
You can't do better.
You can't. But it's the relievers that are coming in are not pitching at an elite level, and Dan's bullpen management, putting relievers in when they shouldn't be. I have a big example. It was during Sunday's game. The Mariners had Monday off. So our bullpen was already kind of rested, and we have a day off the next day. Dan went with Snyder instead of Brash in a tie game. He had Snyder get 2 outs, and then he puts in Brash to get the final out. So now that's 2 relievers in 1 inning when you probably could have just went with Brash from the get-go. Yeah. And then, on top of that, in the 9th inning, they put in Legamiano. I'm not great.
John Leguizamo.
Yeah. The dude from John Wick.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Legs. That's easier for me.
I like it, Legs.
Sure.
They put in Legs, they put him in the 9th inning on the 10th game of a 10-game road trip with no days off, and he pitched 2 innings the night before. You have a rested bullpen, and you're going to put in a guy in the 9th that pitched 2 innings the previous day, and what do you know? He gives up the walk-off 2-run home run. I don't understand what Dan is doing with his bullpen management. Why would you not go Brash in the 8th instead of using Snyder and then Brash to get 1 out and then Legs to come in the 9th pitching 2 innings the previous night? That is just, it's asinine. It is not good bullpen management. I have a huge problem with it.
Yeah, that just doesn't make any sense. Why?
He's been praised for using all the people around him, his hitting coaches and his pitching coaches. Why didn't he look to Woody and be like, bro, what do we do in this situation? Or at least, give me advice and I'll decide if I'm going to take the advice. But I'm sure he is, but man, come on. If you need a little bit of help, ask, bro. It's your first year. It's fine.
Yeah. And there is, he does have to learn, and we've noticed steps of him learning, but those questionable decisions are still there.
Yes, and it's particularly for pitchers. We kind of critiqued him a little bit toward the beginning of the season about, leaving starters in a little bit too long. And then last night's game, he pulled Evans pitched last night.
Hancock.
Yeah. Hancock last night at like the perfect time. I was like, boom, good job. Get him out of there while like no damage is done, really.
Right.
And so we were like, oh yeah, right on. And then the extra innings happened and we lost in an epic way. But still, that was a good decision. And I was like, okay, we're seeing steps to change this type of stuff from Dan. So now apply it to the bullpen.
Yes. And I do agree with that because we were texting about it when it happened. Hancock was pitching a great game, and then in the 5th started to get into a little bit of trouble. I think it was a single and a walk, and just like, okay, or the 6th, because I think he ended up with 5 in a 3rd inning. So into the 6th, and it's like, okay, he's starting to get a little bit of trouble. Get him out of there. And it was the right move by Dan. Unfortunately, Gabe Spire came in and first pitch, 2-run double. And I mean, that one is unfortunate, but I believe Dan made the right call in pulling Hancock when he did. But then Snyder in the 10th and just...
He really just blew it open.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no coming back from that.
No. A 7 spot in the 10th inning.
Especially when our offense just was, they were trying to, some of the guys were making it happen here and there and getting crafty, but then we also had a lot of guys just looking goofy.
Yeah.
Swinging, just looking goofy. And also we've also had some questionable strike zones in more than just that game. But JP got ejected last night. Due to a bad call. So it's been a bit of a reoccurring theme in some games, which, we talked before, it's not make or break always, but man, when you're seeing it repeatedly and it's having such a big impact, you can kind of almost tell when it starts to kind of eat at the guys and get at their heads too, and it almost makes them second guess themselves. I feel like it brings down their confidence a little bit at the plate, maybe for some of them, where they're just like, they just feel like they can't win, so they just go up there they don't have that same energy, right? Where on the last Friday, it's like the boys were hot, like just the camaraderie was so different. It's like the energy is different, but it's like when everyone's just frustrated, pissed off, and yeah, JP was hot last
Rightfully
night.
so.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
JP got ejected on a pitch that was way outside of the zone, and he got his money's worth for that ejection.
Hey, if you're going to get ejected, you better give it to him, I think. Might as well.
Agree.
And also, Dan Wilson got his first career ejection. We had talked about it in previous episodes, how he had never, obviously his managerial tenure was short-lived, but never ejected as a manager and was never ejected as a player once in his entire career, which is wild. And we were like, oh, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? It happened in the Houston series on a pitch that was very obviously a strike.
Right.
To
so
Randy
maybe not the best
Arozarena.
time to do that, but hey, at least get that one out of the way and,
But Bella, you actually raised a really good point. It had me thinking about how it's affecting their ability at the plate and stuff, because the Mariners are either like first or second in walks in the league. They're walking, so they know the strike zone. They've been taking excellent at bats. And then just like you said, the umpire starts changing it. Now they're swinging at pitches that they wouldn't normally swing at, and they know that they probably shouldn't swing at. But because the umpiring has been so bad, they have to expand the zone. And we are seeing lesser contact because of it. That's a very good point.
Yeah, they're trying to read the ump's mind of what mood they're going to be in tonight. Are you going to have a decent strike zone, or are you going to be all over the map? And for both teams too. Back seeing like, what the heck is going on? Even the Nationals pitcher was chirping back. I think it was like the following inning.
Yeah,
he was pissed, and so it definitely wasn't a one way. It's just like, man, you guys get it together. But I definitely do think, the mental factor for me. I could be wrong, but.
Yeah. It sucks that Dan got ejected on that pitch to Randy, because Randy's arguing that it's not a strike. It was clearly a strike.
Right.
Very clearly a strike. It wasn't even borderline.
Now it's in there.
Yeah.
Randy had some serious missed opportunities too.
Yeah. We get to Randy. But JP knows his zone.
Yes.
And
he's a patient man too.
Yeah.
He will usually just, all right. You'll see him just bite his lip when he gets bad calls sometimes, but
shake his head, walk away, just like.
Yep, he had enough.
He had enough.
That was it. That's the tipping point. And
Yep.
I'm glad he yelled at him.
Yeah.
too.
Good.
Oh,
We
love to
support
see it,
JP in this house.
obviously.
Oh, yeah.
We ride at dawn for JP.
I got to hand it to Cal Raleigh in yesterday's game as well. Dude is on base, stealing bases, doing everything he can to get this offense going, and then the guys behind him just didn't have it. So that whole next man up thing just wasn't clicking yesterday. But man, Cal Raleigh is balling out of his mind.
Well, and I almost thought for a second, like, because we talked a little bit about Tavares last time too, and we were just like, hey, just hasn't done anything crazy. And since then, he had a great game with Houston. So I was like, oh, hey, kind of getting a little bit more up on him. Seems like he's meshing more with the team. And then last night, about the first half of the game or so, I was almost like, man, Tavares for MVP, because first it wasn't looking good. And then, he's the first one to set it off, and he's the one who scored. I think it was Miles who got the run when Tavares hit. And then Tavares had that fantastic throw home to Cal. That was a beauty. So I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, he's great. Second half of the game, I think it was in the 10th. I was like, maybe I wasn't seeing it from all angles. Did the ball like greatly just change course? Or were you just misread the hell out of that ball? Whatever route I was like, you just out of nowhere, and then you're like over here. What is going on?
Is that the play where he got handcuffed on and he looked? Because I saw
there was actually two plays that were rough. The first one was, I don't remember what inning, but it was towards the end, maybe 7th, 8th-ish. And that one was the one I think where he
like got handcuffed. He didn't know how to hold his glove for the ball, and then it dropped right in front. Like he didn't like hit his glove and drop it, but if he had just reached out, but he was like he didn't know what to do.
And then the second one, it just like the route he ran, how he read the ball was just rough, and almost I was like, man, is that even gonna stay in the ballpark? But it stayed in. But I'm like, if you would have tracked that properly, you actually would have had a great chance at catching it. And so that was rough. That was rough for me.
Poor Leote.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I watched him at the Wednesday's game. I saw both sides of it. So I saw Randy in left field. I saw a ball hit towards kind of the jut out that they have before it like fully gets in the outfield, in between third base and left field, that little jut they have. And there was runners on first and second. And I goes to the little jut, and I watch Randy jog over in that direction as the runners are running full steam. I watched it hit the little cutout and bounce into play, and I watched Randy jog his way over there and throw it in, and 2 runs easily scored because Randy just refuses to hustle.
Lollygagging,
hot dogging it out there.
Friday night's game against Astros, same thing. I mean, he not same scenario, but little blooper almost, short out into the field, and JP's running backwards. He's only a couple steps away from making it. So if he's that far back, he was a couple in front of it. So if you would have actually sprinted, you could have probably got it without even having to slide. But if not, the worst case scenario, slid and got that ball. But you're just kind of like, just watching to see if JP was going to get it as he's sprinting into the outfield backwards, when you should have just been calling him off.
And it's always easier to come in than to run out.
And you're in charge on that one. You're the one calling
Unless
off.
you're Ben Williamson making plays in left field like a goddamn gangster.
Like a boss. Almost had a mean catch last night too, but barely missed that one. But yeah.
But yeah, in that game with Randy jogging, I saw Tavares later in that same game, a ball hit. He was kind of shaded towards right center, and it was hit more down the line. And I watched him sprint, take a great angle, and slide to stop the ball with his body and throw it in. And the fact that he threw it in from essentially his knees from the outfield, he tried to get the runner at second. It just was too deep and too hard of a throw. But that effort, I'll applaud that effort. Like the fact that he ran, took a great angle, slid, sacrificed his body, did everything he could to try to make the play. And then we have Randy who just decides to just...
There's zero sense of urgency.
Yeah.
I mean, none.
It's getting really, really frustrating.
And he had the strikeout and last night where he just already was assuming he was taking first. He did that. I think it was maybe his last at bat, one of his last. Did the same thing where he automatically just assumed it went to go and just got rung up on it and then was so confused. I'm like, dude,
Stop doing it.
Again. And again, yeah, I'm like, oh. So yeah, I hope somebody needs to get in his ear.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send him in the pod. No.
It's just, I cannot stand for lack of hustle, for lack of trying.
It's the least you can do.
Yes.
You know, it's the least you can do.
And it literally feels like Randy thinks he's like too cool to try that hard. That's why he's always trying to do the highlight stuff. Like, oh, I'm going to pimp this walk, or not jog because not trying is cool.
Or like his position is so secure. Like we don't have options.
Yeah.
Well, another thing. Oh, what do you got?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one thing that's curious is we thought Rayleigh was going to be out for the majority of the season, or at least like All-Star break or after. It looks like he's rehabbing very well, and he should be back sooner rather than later. And then it kind of makes me wonder what moves we make then. I think obviously the one would be to get rid of Solano, but Solano's getting a lot more playing time.
I've noticed that a lot, that he's been playing, and I don't love it.
Right. Me
Still don't love it. Still don't love Rowdy either, but he's gotten a little
better.
bit better. He's gotten better, so I will give him that. But yeah, that is still a huge issue for me. So I will be curious to see if that does shake anything up there once Rayleigh's back. And it also sounds like Robles is going to be out a while too. Sounds like maybe not till like September for him.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a real chance that Robles does not return this season.
100% chance, which is such a bummer for him.
Yep.
And I hope last night Julio too, he got hit on his hand pretty good, and that I was
terrified.
Listening. I'm not gonna lie. I
know he stayed in the game. Did they pinch run for him?
No. He
Good.
stayed in the game,
Good.
and not only did he stay in the game, he stole a base immediately after.
Right.
There you go. Julio.
And then
had a great
he
catch
also
in center field.
and then made a great catch in the gap. So hopefully it just stung and it just hurt.
Yeah, I mean it was dead on. I mean, dead onto his hand. It wasn't just like, oh, kind of. So I was just, any broken bones in your hand. I mean, it's just time. It's just a slow healer. So, but the fact that he went back, immediately they kept him running, and he went back into center, that gave me a lot of hope. That I'm like, okay, so hopefully it's bruised. Maybe they'll give him the day off or something. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how tonight goes. But I was so worried. I was like, please, baseball gods.
We cannot take any more Soggy injuries.
Nope.
We're at capacity for injuries. Stop hurting our guys.
Tapped out, guys.
So obviously first base needs help.
Yes.
But is that our priority? I don't know. I think when Rayleigh comes back, they're going to put him back in right field. Maybe no more Leote.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I mean,
but I think what you said about Randy feeling secure in his position, I mean, he's pretty secure over there in left field. Who are we going to put out there?
Dylan Moore, Masterboni, those.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Put
obviously,
Leote over there, and
I don't know if I want Masterboni in left field.
I don't either. That's what. No,
barely want him in right field. It's fine.
He can do it.
Yeah,
it's serviceable as an outfielder, but I
temporary,
want him in the infield.
Temporary replacement kind of thing.
Yes,
shouldn't be out there.
No,
he's an
Him
infielder.
And
yes,
at second I really enjoyed seeing those two, or Dylan Moore at second. Those guys there has been solid. We've been turning some incredible double plays. We had multiple. One of the games where I was like, man, back to back, just smooth as butter. Looking great over there.
Yeah. We have infield prospects.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's tough right now. The outfield is I guess not even the whole outfield. It's really right field. To me, it feels like a big area to focus on.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got Harry Ford.
We've
got Cole Young
right now. Raking. He's been an absolute menace at the plate.
They're still putting him in the outfield every so often, or they just just stay.
I haven't
catcher.
been keeping track too much on what position he's playing. I just know that he's been doing great at the plate. That's all the highlights I've been mainly seeing for him.
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I joked around with Patrick and Matt, and I was like, "I bet Harry Ford plays a mean first base. Let's get him up here."
I bet he could.
You probably could though. Think about it.
Truly.
Yeah. I mean,
if Cole Young is great, I mean, what are we going to do? Second base?
I mean,
I keep Ben Williamson at third base.
Ben Williamson stays at third.
We don't need to discuss this. It's solidified, stamped.
You had me cracking up yesterday when Ben Williamson hit the RBI single, and you were like, Dave Niehaus, Edgar Martinez, Ben Williamson.
He's on my Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
But no, I love
All-time great Mariners.
I'm like, man, you're pushing my favorites of Seager and Beltre. You're coming up hot here, bud.
But no, Ben is awesome. Ben has 100% proven. And I feel like I'm taking crazy pills every time I listen to the Mariners media. 710, 93.3, Goldsmith, Angie on the broadcast, like talking about like, oh, he doesn't have the power numbers or this, that, and the other. And I've brought it up on the pod before, but it's like, do we care? We're not struggling in hitting home runs.
He was not asked to be a DH.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I'm like, why?
not his
I
job.
cannot understand this focus on the fact that Ben Williamson isn't going to drop 30 bombs a year. Like, I don't care. He gets singles, he gets hits, and he plays awesome defensively. I love him. I want him as our staple third baseman.
I'm right there with you. Our best games are when you string together a whole bunch of hits and put up 6-7 runs a game.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Get him on, get him over, get him in. To get him in, you got to get him on. And singles are getting on. So what's the problem?
Cal Raleigh's hitting so many home runs. I mean, get guys on base
Yeah.
when Cal is up to bat, and we'll win ball games.
And Miles too. He's been also crafty. He's another one who it's like, not. He
And
just had his
Rivas.
first home run with us, but it's like he's also been really crafty on making sure getting on base. Working the count, getting singles. So
Damn, we got a lot of infielders.
We are an
Yeah, and
infield
Rivas.
heavy team.
So I hear a lot of people saying, let's bring up some prospects. It's like our best
Where do you
prospects
put
are
'em?
infielders.
Yeah. And
It seems. I might be wrong. There might be a couple standout
No, it
outfielders.
is infield heavy. We have an
and
infield.
pitcher heavy.
Yep. And like we have an infield heavy roster, and our prospects are infield heavy. I'm curious to see what we do at the trade deadline to be like, and maybe that's why these prospects aren't getting called up. And also, we are kind of pushing the panic button a little bit. Technically speaking, as of today on Friday, the Mariners are still in first place.
Yes.
It's been a bit of a slide, but they are still in first place. So it's not like we have to revamp this roster.
Done the hatches.
Yeah.
Patch some holes.
Yeah. Just make some slight adjustments. We need to turn course just a wee bit. Yeah.
But I have seen that the Mariners have, out of all the teams, the Mariners have the most prospects in the top 100. The Seattle Mariners alone have 9 players in the minor leagues right now that are in the top 100 of all prospects.
Love to see that.
But then that raises the question. How would you guys like to go about this? Because the question is, do we ride this out and then we let our prospects come up and try, or are we in win now mode and we try to move a couple prospects at the deadline and get? I mean, it is a tough decision,
It's
but
a balance. It definitely is a balancing act because then otherwise you end up with eventually a super green team where you're at like rebuild, right? Just because you have a really green team and a ton of turnover all at once. But then it's a matter of, well, if you do just a little bit, it's like chess. It's like incrementally, what pieces do we move
Right.
and where? Who do we, what prospect do we sell and who do we get in exchange for that? And dancing act for sure. And I hope that they focus on some of these more key positions. I mean, and it's great that we have so many, prospects in the top 100. But like we said, we're really heavy on pitchers and infield. So it's long term thinking about who turns over. Like do you know how long JP has left on his contract by chance?
oh, I actually don't off the top.
Because he's one where it's like, don't get me wrong, I don't want to see JP go anywhere anytime soon, and it's going to break my heart no matter how long it is from now. It's just one of those, you love a player so much, but that's the reality. He will age out of that position. Shortstop especially is a very, physical position, and we have prospects that are itching to also take that position in a sense.
So it looks like
Through 26.
So, next year.
It's got a year.
Okay. So that's where that could be a potential bargaining piece that we don't want to see bargained, but it could potentially be because we have so many people that can fill some of the spots. And JP is still a big name, and it's before he's going down, right? So he's still going to be worth a lot in the eyes of another team potentially.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah, and that's one where it's like I don't want to see that, but I could see that being one that will be a tough for the fans, but might be.
I think you could put together a little like a Rivas Master Boney and maybe a couple prospects for a big bat.
That'd be a good package.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could.
We've got the depth there.
Yeah, and on like one side, it's like I don't want to get rid of these guys or whatever. But then also, if we're waiting for the prospects to come up, then it's just the story again of Jerry Dipoto constantly moving the goalposts back.
That was my first thought when you were talking about balancing, trading some prospects, and and that's exactly right.
And you don't want to sell away your eggs because you're just so proud of what you've grown up.
Is it win now or let the next generation come through?
And hope that the next generation
exactly. That's a gamble
because you never know. I mean, we've seen so many 4A players come through here. Guys Jared Kelenic, Mike Zunino, Dustin Ackley. Guys,
that name in a while.
guys that absolutely tore up the minor leagues and they just never really fully developed at the major league level. And any prospect you call up, that's always the risk you take. You never know if they could only mash at the AAA level and they take that next jump and it just never clicks. So
we'll have to see.
I would like a win now mode.
Yeah,
I think
for
all
sure.
of us would love to see that. We've been waiting a long time.
As the trade deadline gets closer, you hear a lot about it's a seller's market this year. So
let's get to selling, boys.
Let's get to buying.
Everyone's selling. We need to buy.
Yeah.
And then it's also weird to think like, okay, like right field for the foreseeable future was set, but because Robles has a freak injury, now we're like, oh, what are we doing right? Tavares is doing serviceable.
Robles and Rayleigh.
That's two right fielders. And like Tavares is like doing fine now, but is that our long-term option?
No.
I don't think so.
I don't think it ever was.
No.
It won't be. Yeah.
No.
He's one of the first to go. Gotta be. In Solano.
And Solano.
One can only pray.
And then, I don't know. I think it's weird that Rivas is not getting as much playing time as I think he should get. I think he plays a really nice second base.
He does.
Smooth as him and JP, short and second. It's been really, really nice to
watch.
Bang. Yeah, I feel confident, and he does great at the plate too in terms of being patient. He works those walks a lot as well. So I do, but also at the same time, it's like we have a couple other people that also want to see play. Mastroboni and Dylan Moore. I mean, Dylan Moore, we can put him in. He can kind of go all over, but he plays a great second base as well. So
yeah,
that's what hard one juggle because I'm like I really like all three of you guys, honestly.
I like how much Rivas gets on base.
Yes,
yeah,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
but man, I like Dylan Moore in the game wherever he is. If you can get that guy in the lineup, then I'm cool with it.
Yep, you have to have him on your lineup card. Are
we going to assume that Polanco is going to DH all season?
I assume that he has to.
Kind of has to.
Yeah, and it was probably a couple weeks ago now, but Angie, they did bring up Polo and just kind of him not wanting to hit on the other side of the plate and thinking that he still has a little bit of the injury bug or, kind of not feeling 100%. And that's why they're definitely wanting to keep him out of the field. And she kind of also insinuated too that it sounds like that's kind of idea of like keeping him out of the field, but keeping him hitting as much as possible.
Yeah.
Seemed kind of the sentiment that they also had as well. So I'm like, oh, good. That would be ideal because
right. I don't even know.
Keep him out of the field. We don't have anywhere to put him.
Keep him out of the field.
Keep him out. He's doing great now. He must be living life, hitting large, and leave it at that.
Totally, yeah.
Although we have seen Polanco regress a little bit, his average has dropped below 300.
Yeah, he hasn't been as hot the last couple.
He hasn't been as hot, He's batting like 280 now, which is still great, especially in this day and
I ain't
age.
mad at it.
No,
Dude,
but
it's fine.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess he's essentially has to be our DH. I guess they're still semi worried about the hip and range, and even just having him bat from like the right side. And
Yeah, I don't know why it's a question of like, oh, do we put him in the infield? No.
No,
just,
we don't.
just make it very clear to everyone involved.
He's either
Hey,
DH or he's
dude,
not
Polo,
playing.
you're going to DH the rest of the season, bro. So just like mentally prepare for that.
Because who else would we put in DH? Unless it's like a Cal day, which it's like, I don't want Cal to just be DHing. Like if he needs to and it's, a day he's not catching, sure, whatever. But like, I don't want to depend on him doing that. He has plenty of jobs to do. And what Garver is who else we sometimes put in there as DH? Shut up. Shut the front door.
Don't DH Garver. It's a bad idea.
Shut up.
But as Polo tries to, get his body right, is he thinking like, oh, I got to get this going because I might have to, play some second base? Dude, tell him to get that out of his mind. Don't think about that when you're trying to get better. Just worry about hitting from the right side of the plate.
yeah. And yeah, and we need that switch hitting ability and from Polo. And obviously Polanco was injured last year, and we saw him rehab and coming out so much better this year. And it's clear that he's still not 100%.
Yeah.
So think about the jump that he made from being terrible the previous season
so bad
to getting, at 80% healthy, and now he's one of the best hitters on the Mariners. So if we keep him light again and using him sparingly and not in the field, and then have him rest up again in the offseason next year, he can be 100%. Keep him as a DH.
Mm-hmm.
And Garver's contract is gone or is done.
See ya.
At the end of this year.
Adios.
He will not be re-signed. There's no way that's happening. And then, I mean, this is jumping way ahead at the end of the year stuff, but like then with Garver gone, is that when we called Harry Ford up? But then Harry Ford has the ability, allegedly, the potential to be an everyday starter, but that is not going to happen when we have the best catcher in baseball already.
Mm-hmm.
So
dude's gonna be catching 1 day a week.
Yeah, but
that's not good for him. You need to get this guy major league at bats. And
but what if he can play first base? No.
What if he can play first base?
That's what I'm saying.
We definitely, these are all just random little holes that we currently have in the ship. And it does need to be figured out, though, because I mean, there is a high potential that by the time this episode gets released, that the Mariners are no longer in first place.
It could be after tonight.
It could be after tonight.
Playing the Twins tonight.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, return of Ty France. That's exciting. Yeah. I really kind of want to, if I have the time, I want to catch one of the 3 games. I want to cheer on my boy Ty France. I love Ty France.
I was thinking about maybe trying to catch Sunday. Maybe. It's like, meh. You're gone.
You're not a Ty France lover?
Not
no.
Oh my.
I loved when he threw his bat in the garbage. It was the greatest day of my life.
Yikes.
Do it again.
I love Ty France.
I don't hate the guy.
I would take Ty France back and get rid of these 2 bums at first in a heartbeat.
I would too.
I would in a heartbeat. To be honest, I mean, granted, it wouldn't fix, all the little things, but I truly, truly think that if we got rid of those 2 and brought in a solid first baseman he doesn't even have to have a great batting average, just 200, mid 200 somewhere.
That'd be cool. I'd be fine with that.
I think that alone could shift things tremendously, because it's also annoying. I mean, you've been on teams where you know who your weak link or 2 are. And as much as you might like the dude, you're like, dog, like shit gets old.
Yeah.
Like you start to build some resentment.
That's how I started to feel about Ty France when we got rid of him. I was like, I like the guy, but dude,
prime.
you stink.
Prime. But I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Like, it's got to be draining also on like the camaraderie element. It's like, I can only like you so much if you're bringing me down.
Speaking of first base, Rowdy on Wednesday misplayed another ground ball flip to the pitcher. Pulled him off the bag. He went to throw to Kirby, who was covering, and the throw was off. Kirby missed the bag for one, but it looks like he kind of got the runner's hand on the tag, and Dan did not challenge it. So that was a whole cavalcade of errors right there. Rowdy misthrowing, Kirby missing the bag, and then I guess allegedly missing the tag on top of that. And then another interesting thing that also happened in that inning, there was a stolen base. Nationals ran, I believe it was Demo, swiped the tag, looked like he totally hit the runner in the calf before he touched the bag. Looked like that runner was out twice. And Dan didn't challenge that one either. And I made a note. I was like, does Dan Wilson know that he can challenge plays?
Like, who's reviewing these? I've
Andy
had
Bissell.
a couple where I'm like, who's reviewing? Because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. Like once I see it in slow, I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, that checks out. I was wrong.
Yeah.
But there's a couple where I'm like, at least give it a shot. I feel like we haven't challenged anything in a while.
They were saying that on the radio a little bit ago, too, a couple
Wow.
days ago, because Andy Bissell is so good.
Andy Bissell is great.
He has a great record
Our
of
percentages.
winning challenges.
Yeah,
Which
all
is
the
fair.
way
I don't
from
mean
the
to just
Scott
throw 'em
service.
around willy nilly, but
Mhm. And he has
Hey, man.
such a short window of time to see something
True.
happen and then be like, bro, challenge that.
But-
I don't know.
But for two plays to happen back to back, and both of them on the replay, and my buddy McKinley, who I was at the game with, was walking back and past the TV monitor, and he sat down next to me. He was like, he tagged his leg. I just saw it. He tagged him. And so it's like, well, why isn't Dan challenging? Like, is it because it's the first inning?
Right, you
He
don't
doesn't want to
waste
use
it,
the
or
challenge? But
being a little too conservative with that one challenge.
But
Could
if
be.
you win
Could
it,
be.
you get it another one. And the fact that you had two potential wins
Yeah.
and you just let them both, you just don't challenge. I don't know. I didn't care for that either.
Maybe they didn't have enough evidence. You know?
Maybe.
Like, they're like, we could challenge it. I think we would win, but it is too early to risk. Maybe. Could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
I'm always like, well, I guess I didn't see what they saw, I guess.
I
Yeah,
guess.
I don't know. Another thing I want to get your take on is the safety bag at first. What are your thoughts on that?
For it.
Against.
Ugh.
What is this? What is this? High school softball?
I
Let
played high
'em-
school softball. Seems legit to me.
What does it change about the game? It looks weird.
I mean,
That's what
Julio
you don't like?
plowed over. I
Yes,
forget who it
that's
was.
stupid.
We plowed into
That's very
whoever.
dumb.
I mean, there's just a lot of unnecessary collisions, especially when the pitcher has to go take the bag. That's always when it's very like worrisome for me.
Yeah.
And but it is part of the game. So like, if you want to watch people plow each other over and get injured, that's cool too. But
Dude.
but like, I would like to reduce that.
You got to run outside the baseline anyway and then come back in to tag the bag. Just put the base straight so you can. Phew.
Or that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I think about
in the
like,
comments, tell us. I want to know everyone's opinion.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about
Yeah,
the
are we
safety
safety
bag?
bag? No safety bag. I need to know.
Patrick, you're just being obstinate.
Well, so you know what's funny, and also kind of contradicting my own opinion right now, but I mean, for the longest time growing up, through a huge portion of my life, collisions at the plate were 100% legal, and
Yeah.
it was expected, right?
That is
It
true.
was known that the catcher
Full check.
was supposed to stand in front of the plate and hold the ball, and the runner was going to come through and just fucking blast this guy.
Yeah.
And growing up, I loved it. Always was a huge fan of it. Like, oh, that was so cool.
It's this little hockey moment.
Yeah. And then Buster Posey
Oh.
broke his leg brutally on a collision at the plate. And MLB changed the rules to what they are now of no more collisions at the plate. And I will say, I go back and watch like old YouTube compilations of collisions at the plate, and I'm like, yeah, it's good that they don't do this anymore. This shit is brutal. Like it is gnarly. And but I think any big change in baseball, you just kind of, there's like an adapt period.
Yeah,
where,
pitch clock.
Yeah.
Turned out fine.
I mean,
no one cares.
that
No one's out here like,
that
fuck the
was
pitch
wildly
clock.
controversial when that came out. Like it was,
And now it's nothing.
now we don't even
It's
think
part-
about it
yeah.
anymore.
It's just part of the game. And I will say though,
Bigger bags, don't even notice anymore.
Like
that
imagine
is
some
true.
of these huge guys though coming in at home plate like Cal or Vladdy. Like I don't want to be the catcher that day, my guy. There are some pretty small catchers too out there. Just imagine those guys coming in just ready to check you. Like those boys are corn fed.
Yeah, dude.
Good.
Who was we had a little
Some
catcher,
thick boys.
little backup. He was not good. It wasn't Luis Torrens. It was after that. I can't remember his name. Oh, it was dude we got him from the White Sox, I think. I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Continue.
But
Can't remember.
So, and I do, in my heart of hearts, I know that if we add the safety bag, it will be like a week, and then
We'll
it will
forget
just be,
about it.
and then it will just become second nature. But
It just
I don't know.
It's
It's
come
just
up a lot, not even just in our games a couple times, but just in general in the league. And so I'm like, keeps just something that keeps popping up to me. I'm like, I wonder if they will ever make that change or not.
and they are trying to make the game safer, which I mean, you never want to see anyone get injured ever.
It's terrible, and it still will happen no matter all the things you put in place. Like shit still happens.
Yeah.
you know, freak stuff happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think, honestly, it's purely superficial, but I think it just looks kind of gimmicky, just having the orange bag.
I mean, I guess I'm just so used to it because I mean, playing with we always had it, so it's just I'm used to it. I guess I don't even think you need to make it a different color, do you? Like, is that mandatory for it to be two different colors? Like, I feel like they could both be white.
Yeah, they could both be white.
You know what?
I'm for
You know-
that.
Orange.
know-
That doesn't I don't think it needs to be a different color. We're adults. I think you can figure it out. But
Yeah.
You know what I actually think would be kind of cool? Every home stadium, the safety bag color is the home team's color.
yeah.
So make it that instead of like orange, because I hate the orange. It looks like a
Weird
big
traffic
traffic cone. 100%.
It is distracting. Like it just
and it
doesn't-
looks a little gimmicky. And again, I'm all for player safety. I'd never want to see anyone get hurt. There's tons of people that I hate in the MLB. I never want to see an injury for anyone. Injuries suck. They're brutal.
even if it's all Tuve.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
I
wanna
mean,
see you get
Alex.
hurt.
I hate Alex Bregman.
Sebi Zavala.
Sebi
That
Savala.
dude sucked. But yeah, could you imagine him getting fucking blasted?
Yeah.
Anyway, go ahead.
But like I hate Alex Bregman more than I hate anyone else
Really.
in baseball, and he's now gonna miss like a giant chunk of the season because of a quad injury, and that sucks. I hate the guy. I want him to play and strike out every at
I want you
bat.
to play poorly
I
on
want
your
him to,
own
I-
volition because you
Yeah.
haven't put in the work. And
I want him to boot ground balls.
Yep.
I want him to
To drop everything.
olay a bunch of stuff. I want him to strike out looking when it matters. But what I also want is him in the lineup. And if anything can prevent injuries, you know, it's hard to speak against that. But I really don't like the look of an orange safety bag.
I mean, I totally agree with you on the color. I definitely don't think it should be orange.
Unless it's in Baltimore or Houston.
Right. It's the only time I want to see an orange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or San Francisco.
Yeah.
Am I missing any?
No, did you say Baltimore?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then-
I think we're good.
Yeah, so that they can have orange bags, I guess. And it's good because, I don't know. Also, it's easy to be doom and gloom on the Mariners as we're potentially slowly slipping away from first place. But Silver Linings Playbook, at least we're not the Baltimore Orioles. It is,
Speaking of the Orioles,
hey, we got the Orioles coming up.
We'll see them soon.
perfect segue.
That is.
And if we blow those games, I'm going to be very upset.
The Orioles, it is sad boy hours going on in Baltimore right now. They had built up a great young core. They were they had multiple 100-loss seasons in a row to kind of build up this young core, and they had a great season last year, and all of a sudden it looks like they've reverted completely back. They are 19-36. They have one of the worst records in baseball after having such a dominant season, and I don't know. And that goes to show the weird thing with the Mariners too is like besides a handful of years in the 2000s and 2010s, we've never been like a full bottom of the barrel club. It's always been we haven't been quite enough, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't get me wrong, we have had
We've been
our
in last place.
Oh yeah. That has happened.
Yeah.
But the majority of our seasons, it's not that we're complete dog water. It's just that we just weren't quite good enough. And so for Baltimore to have the taste after so many 100-loss seasons and then be like, okay, this is what we were building for. And to watch it all collapse again this season, that's a damn shame.
Yes.
And at least we're not Baltimore.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, Baltimore.
Sorry, Baltimore.
I'm rooting for you.
Bird Bros. I have a funny Baltimore story. This was a handful of years ago when the Mariners, what do you know, missed the playoffs by one game. Boston was going into Baltimore to play a 3-game series. The Mariners were going for a wild card spot. And they needed Baltimore to sweep Boston for the Mariners to have a chance. Boston needed to lose, and the Mariners needed to win. And at that point, the Mariners tweeted the Orioles account, the scene from The Office with like Jim and the dude that's from here.
I can't remember his name, but I know.
Oh my God.
What?
You guys don't know Office?
I
Dwight.
do, and I cannot remember
Jim and
his
Dwight.
name, though.
Thank you.
Dwight, yeah.
Jim and Dwight. Do you want to form an alliance?
Oh, yeah.
The Mariners tweeted that to the Orioles, and I tweeted the Orioles. I was like, if you sweep Boston, I will buy Baltimore memorabilia.
Uh-huh.
Baltimore did their job.
Yeah.
They handled Boston, and I went and I bought a Baltimore Orioles blanket that's really soft and really nice, and I bought a Cal Ripken Jr. jersey.
Hell yeah.
Solid.
I have
jersey.
both of those things. They're in my game room right now. I love them. The Mariners did not hold up to their end of the alliance. They got smacked in their series, probably to the Angels when it mattered.
Sounds about right.
So I do always, but because of that whole interaction, I do have a soft spot for Baltimore. And it's a damn shame what's happening to the Orioles right now. But we're facing them. I hope we sweep them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
It'd be great. We need a little momentum.
yeah, we have Twins and Baltimore at home. And then we have a road trip going with the Angels. Those are our next 3 series. Let's salvage this, huh? Let's right
ball
the
out
ship.
against the Twins. Take 2.
Take
Let's
2.
do it.
And then sweep the Orioles. Boom. Back on track. Easy. Easy.
And with games being every day, it's such a quick turnaround from sinking to high flying.
Yeah.
But right now, let's stop sinking. Let's attach some wings to this boat.
Hopefully they take our criticism and run with it. And
Let's start
next
flapping
week we'll
away.
have some improvement talk about how things have been better.
Better.
And how we'll be heading to sunny Arizona, I believe, at that point. But
Yeah, we've got a bunch of games up ahead, and we were hyping up the Astros series and how fun that was going to be.
To roll into Houston and at least salvage a...
Let's split.
Come
That's
on.
what we asked, and we
Couldn't
dropped
do it.
3-1.
Couldn't do it.
So we try to stay positive here. Let's win the series against the Twins.
Yep.
Let's take the series. Let's sweep Baltimore. Baltimore is bad. The Twins are a good team.
Yes.
The
Yeah.
Twins are good. So that's going to be a hard-fought series, but the Mariners are at home. Let's take the series. Let's sweep Baltimore. And let's just keep winning ball games. Let's hold on to first place. I like being in first place.
I really like it.
I like it a lot.
And I definitely don't want the Astros to have it.
I really don't want that. So let's keep winning games and make everyone happy and good instead of downtrodden and sad and mad all the time.
The weather's nice. We need to start winning some games. Let's go.
Let's start winning. And hopefully all of those wins happen, and we'll be back next week to give you all the fun news. Thank you for watching us for another episode. And as always,
Go
Mariners!